Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to bring you 5 super easy spring DIYs using a lot of the Dollar Tree products. If you want to know how to do that, stick around. I'll show you how. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. And if you want to see future videos, be sure and like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you're notified when I have a new video upload. Okay, for this first one, I'm just going to take one of the Dollar Tree rabbits, and I'm going to take some of the Jenga blocks from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to glue 4 of them together, 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top, and I'm just using my hot glue to do it. Then I'm going to attach all 4 of them with some hot glue right to the center of the rabbit, and that's going to make him stand up. Next, I'm going to take some blue painter's tape, and I'm just going to go across both top of both toes on the front and the back because I'm going to do a dual tone on this rabbit. And I'm going to paint the top part with the Waverly antique wax. And if you get this too thick, you can spritz it a little bit with some water and it will thin down a lot. And you want to paint both front and back on this piece. Next, I'm going to take the painter's tape after everything's dried, and I'm going to go across the top of that line on both the front and the back because I'm going to paint the white part on the bottom part. And I'm just going to use a folk art chalk paint. It's called a white Adirondack. And I'm going to paint the little stand in the back white too. And I ended up having to use probably 3 coats on the white to get it to the way I wanted it. Next, I'm just going to take some jute, and I'm just going to go right around his neck area a few times. And then I'm just going to tie that offset on the side in a bow. Okay, next I'm going to take some 3 little bunnies I got at Dollar Tree also, and I'm going to paint them with that same antique wax. And I'm going to take 2 12mm half beads and paint them the same color. After those dry, I'm going to go ahead and center one of them right into the center of the bottom part. And I'm going to put one of the little beads on. And then I'm going to bring my ruler in to make sure I get all mine lined up well. And then I'm going to paint put the other 2 on and put the other bead on. Just putting a rabbit bead, rabbit bead, rabbit. Just make sure you get them lined up because if it's standing up, you will notice that it's not straight. But that's why I'm bringing my ruler in, just to make sure. Okay, next I'm just coming in with a little tag and one of these little punches, and I'm typing the word hoppy and putting it on a little tag, and I'm just going to attach it right up there on top of that jute. Just going to tie it right into that bow. And then I'm going to take a little brad, stick it through the top hole, and open that up just to kind of fill in that hole a little bit. This was a pretty quick and easy one. It turned out super cute. I put this on my fireplace mantle. I really like this one. Let me know in the comments which one of these is your favorite. Today I'm doing a spring collaboration with a lot of talented ladies. I'll link the playlist in the description below. You ought to go check out their work. They got some great ideas and they all are budget friendly. For the next one, I got these little rabbits at Michael's, and I'm just going to fill in each hole with some wood putty. This was like a garland, and I'm just going to cover up those holes. Just kind of fill it in real good so they don't come out. Then next I'm going to just go ahead and sand them after they've dried. Okay, next I'm just going to take the Waverly antique wax, and I'm going to paint both sides of these. Next, I'm going to take the folk art chalk paint, and I'm just going to make polka dots on this. Now, take your time on this. I'm using a real fine pointed paint brush. I'm going to go ahead and put a dot over both of the holes that I filled in with the wood putty, and then I'm going to start putting polka dots on them. Just kind of randomly space them out. If you take your time on this, you can get it pretty spaced out. Just don't put them lined up together. Kind of really space them out. And I'm putting polka dots on just one side of mine. You can alternate if you want to and not have, have maybe a polka dot one, a solid one, a polka dot, a solid one, but I'm going to do all mine with the polka dots. Next, I got these little 1.5-inch pom-poms, and if you roll them up in your hand like this, you can make them really fluffy. They fluff up so good if you just kind of take some time and roll them around. Okay, next I'm taking the Jenga blocks and I'm going to attach these to the back. So attach 2 to each one of these. And we're just wood gluing them together, and then we're going to attach these to the back of our bunnies. Okay, next I'm just going to take a 1x2 piece of wood that's 22 inches in length, and I'm just going to paint the entire thing with that same white chalk paint. Just make sure you get both ends done good, and then paint the entire thing. Okay, next I'm coming in with that same antique wax, and I'm just going to distress this exactly like I did the little park bench. And you want to do this while your paint is still a little bit wet. If it dries, you can just add a little bit more white on it, but we're just going to go ahead and distress the entire thing. Okay, next, the little pieces that I made for the back of each bunny, I'm going to go ahead and paint those with that same antique wax paint as well. That way it'll match the rabbit that it's hooked to. And just do the top and the bottom on all of them. Okay, next I'm going to start attaching my pieces. I'm going to take a ruler and line these up just to make sure that they're standing straight up, and you want to make sure you go all the way to the bottom because these are going to have to stand up on the little platform. And I'm using E6000 glue and hot glue to hook these together. Just check it to make sure it does stand up straight. And kind of look from an angle, make sure it isn't leaning to one side. And then just go ahead and glue all those down. Okay, next I'm going to start lining them up on my board and just kind of put them all on there at one time, and then just make sure that they're spaced out good, and then you can start gluing them together. Just kind of step back and take a look at them, but we are going to glue them to the back edge. And then I'm just going to attach mine with a little E6000 glue, a little hot glue, and I'm putting it right up against the back edge. And just keep doing that until you have all of yours glued down. Okay, next I'm just going to take some thin jute twine and I'm going to wrap it around the neck of the rabbit 2 times, and then I'm going to tie it off in a bow over to the side. Now you could have done this a little bit easier had you done it before you attach these to this board. Okay, next I'm just going to add a little pom-pom right down to the bottom part. Just kind of go up, I'm probably going up about 1/2 inch from the base, and just do that to all of them. Next, I had some Scrabble letters that spelled spring, and I'm going to attach one to each one of the bunnies, kind of at a tilted side on the top part of their head. And I'm going to attach them with just a double-sided adhesive foam tape. Just kind of wanted it lifted up off there a little bit. And I'm just kind of attaching them at a tilt. I think this one turned out super cute. Let me know what you think in the comments below. The next one, I'm taking one of the Dollar Tree rabbit forms, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull the ears as far apart as I can. Don't snap them, though. Then I'm going to take some macrame yarn that I was given by a company called Hippie Crafters on Amazon, and I'll give you the link for that. I'm cutting them at 5.5 inches, and I'm going to start looping these on. Now, I ended up using about 120 of these. This macrame yarn is really good, and it comes in a variety of different colors. Just keep going till you get it completely looped. I was going the opposite way on this for the first 3, and then I finally turned it over and it started going a little bit faster. And I'll show you how I did on here, right here. I'm going to flip it over and then I'll show you. If you come towards you and through, it goes so much faster. And if you don't get them all the same length, don't worry about it, because we are going to come back in and trim these out in a little bit after we get them all put on. But just make sure that you get them on and they're pretty tight. Then we're going to take a comb and we're just going to comb them out. Now this macrame yarn combed out real quick and easy. I really liked this. But just go around and get them all combed out and then go ahead and start trimming them out to make sure all the edges are exactly the same length. And you may have to turn them a couple different ways where they cross. Next, I'm going to take the same macrame yarn. I'm going to come through the middle of the 2 ears, and I'm going to tie a knot in the back, and I'm just going to start wrapping this around this frame. Now, this really didn't take that long. I mean, if you're sitting watching TV or something like that, this is a good time to just sit and do this. And this macrame yarn went a long way. After I finished this rabbit, I probably still had enough left over to probably do another rabbit. Just open that up and then go ahead and just make sure that they're tight. Now on this, when you're wrapping this, just make sure that they're pretty side by side where you don't see the wire, but don't pull it tight or you'll have a bow in your frame. So just kind of loosely put it around there and just keep going until you get it done. Now, I know it looks like it takes a lot of work, but really it didn't take that long to do this. Eventually you'll start getting a pattern, and I did as I started going along. Then when you get to the end, just go ahead and cut it off. I'm going to take a little plastic sewing needle, and then I'm just going to run the line through the back part just to seal it off, just to make sure it goes through and it stays. And then I'm going to go ahead and comb the back part of the one that overlaps to the back, and then I'm just going to cut that off so you don't see it in the front. Next, I'm going to take a couple of Dollar Tree shoes that has a hole in the top. I'm going to go ahead and pull the middle toe off and then glue it back on over the top of that hole to seal that hole off so you don't see it. I'm going to do that on both of them. Then I'm going to come in with the Waverly Antique wax paint. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it, and then I'm going to paint it. Now, I painted my entire thing with this color, and then I'm coming back in a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and paint the feet, the little circles, white. I'm going to take E6000 glue and hot glue, and I'm just going to attach these facing outward from each other onto the bottom of my wreath. Then I came back in with the chalk paint, and I'm just painting the oval circles on this one. It just made it pop a little bit better. I liked it afterwards. Then I'm just taking some lavender that I got on Amazon. I'm just going to cut that off. And then I'm going to tie a rubber band around it to hold it together. And then I'm just going to try to insert it behind my rabbit feet. So when you put your rabbit feet on the first time, just make sure that you don't glue all the way to the edge, because you are going to come back in here with your flowers if you choose to. And you're going to tuck them up behind the foot. Just kind of hide them back underneath there. And then I'm going to come in with a bow just to cover up the other part of it. And then you don't even have to add anything to hang it with. You can hang it from that first loop. And I'm just going to hang this on my front door. If you wanted to do the full body rabbit, you could add the egg frame too and do it as well just by attaching it to the head part. And for the next one, I'm just going to take 3 of the Jenga blocks and I'm going to glue them side by side. And I'm going to build a little park bench with this. And I'm just using wood glue to attach these pieces. And then I'm going to go ahead and brace this. Then I'm going to take 9 of the Jenga blocks and I'm just going to put them side by side and glue them together. And this is going to be for the bottom part where they sit. The next, I'm going to take 5 Jenga blocks. I'm going to start on the outside edge and I'm going to glue it to the back of every other block. So you're just going to have 5 on the back part. And then if you get any over where you can see the glue after you glue it together, just kind of wipe off those edges of it. And if you get too much glue, don't worry about it. You can come back in and sand this. Okay, next we're going to take 2 Jenga blocks, and we're just going to put them on the front part, standing up, and these are going to be like the armrest. And you're going to glue the back and the bottom on these. And then just let all that dry, and then we're going to start adding the top part. So go ahead and take the top part, add it on the very top of the spive, and go ahead and glue those down. These Jenga blocks are really cute to use for these little park benches. You can even make little chairs out of them. There's so many things that you can make with these. I really suggest you put some of these in your stash. And then we are going to go ahead and brace these. Okay, next I'm just going to take 2 Jenga blocks and put them on top of each other. And I'm going to do this 4 times. And this is going to be for the legs. And when we get them all put together, then we're going to go ahead and brace them all together as one unit. Okay, next I'm just going to go ahead and attach them to the back edges of both sides on the bottom. And I am going to brace these, and then when they dry, I'm going to flip them over and put the ones on the front. So you want to make sure that you do brace these because these do need to have a structural strength. Just make sure you get them right to the outside edge. And then we're just going to go ahead and attach these to the front edge. Exactly the same way. And then be sure and brace those as well. And do exactly the same thing for the opposite side. Okay, next we're just going to start making the planters to go on each side of these. And we're just going to glue 2 pieces together for each wall. And you're going to do that 4 times. And then we're going to attach all this together here in a minute. And then we are going to put a bottom on it as well, but we're going to do that here after a while. Just keep going till you're going to go ahead and make 8 of these because you're going to have 2 planters, 1 on each side. Just make sure you're kind of cleaning off any of the excess glue on both of it as it oozes out. Okay, to assemble these, we're just going to go ahead and glue them into a box shape. And on the facing side, the front part and the back part, you want to make sure that they are overhanging the 2 edges because you want it to be just a straight bar on the front part. You don't want to see any lines, so you just want to make sure that you are overlapping it over the 2 sides. And then we're going to attach our back, and then we're going to put a bottom in here as well. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and add a bottom to it. We're going to take 4 Jenga blocks to put along the bottom edge of it. Now just go ahead and make sure that you start at one edge, and you will, because these will go short on you, and we're going to use that to put in the front to look like it has a step up on the planter so you can see that it has a platform. But just make sure you do get to the edge of one side. And do your other planter exactly the same way. Okay, next I'm just going to paint all these pieces with the same white paint I used earlier, the white chalk paint from Folk Art. And then I'm coming back in with the antique wax, and I'm just going to distress it while it's still wet, and then I'm going to blend it in with my other brush just to get rid of the streaks. And I'm going to do that to the whole entire thing, the bench and the other planter as well. Next, I'm going to glue these together, and I'm just going to take the back leg and glue the back of the box to the back edge of the leg. Now make sure that the little box that you made, the little step down that you see in the front, make sure that's facing forward. And then be sure and brace it, and then do exactly the same thing for the opposite side. Okay, next I just measured my opening, and I cut a piece of floral foam to go inside of each one of these little boxes. Okay, next I'm just going to take some little greenery that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to attach it inside each one of these little boxes. Fill it up pretty full because you don't want to see the green the green foam below. And then I'm going to come back in with some little lavender sprigs that I got on Amazon. I'll give you the link for those, and I'm just going to attach those as well. And I'm putting about 5 of those lavender sprigs on each side. And I'm just kind of using a little stick to kind of help me stick them down in there. And just keep going until you have it as full as you want. I really loved how this one turned out. I think I'm going to put this one on my tiered tray. For this next one, I'm just going to take a regular egg. I'm just tap off the top part of it, and then I'm going to peel it back probably about a 1/2 inch. Okay, then I'm just going to empty it, wash it, and then I'm going to Mod Podge the middle of it, the inside of it, and completely seal it. Next, I'm going to take some sage chalk paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint these little saucers. Just kind of make sure they're cleaned up good before you start painting them. Okay, next I'm going to take a piece of eucalyptus, and I'm just going to curve it around into the shape of a circle, and I'm going to glue that down to the bottom of my saucer. Okay, after that dries, I'm just going to take my egg and I'm just going to glue it down right in the middle. Now go ahead and add a lot of glue right there. Next, I'm going to take some of that same greenery and lavender that I used in the other projects, and I'm just going to bunch them together, and I'm just going to glue them right down into the center of my egg. Now, this egg is not as fragile as you think it is. It held up real well. I didn't even crack any of it off while I was working on it. So, I hope you like these kind of videos. Be sure and check out that spring collaboration with the other ladies. I think you'll really like the work that they do. And if you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you're notified when I have a new video upload. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.